Would you date a man that makes less money than you? Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I wanted to put this question out there, not necessarily to get an answer to the question directly, but to have a conversation about it. This is a question that I am seeing recently that it's geared towards Black women. Like, would you consider dating a man who makes less money than you? And what I am noticing is this question is geared towards Black women to maybe get them to reconsider their expectations or to, make them feel as though their expectations are high or to consider, lowering your expectations to have for the sake of having a relationship, so to speak. And this is something that I only see, and I could be wrong, but I have only seen this question geared towards Black women and the way in which it's often put in interviews and things like this. And a lot of times it's in interviews with Black men that ask them this. But the way in which it's almost done in a way that's like, how dare you have expectations? Or let me ask you this question so you could put your expectations out there and you could be ridiculed or criticized for having those expectations. I honestly don't know that it's in Black women's best interest to answer a question like this anymore. Your standards, your expectations, and what you want in a relationship are your own. Trust, there's many women of different races who have high expectations as well. You also don't need to lower your expectations. I also think it's lowering your expectations or um, maybe even participating in conversations with people that you don't need to be talking to about your dating expectations. People that love you and celebrate you and want you to do well will never ask you to lower your expectations. It is a complete setup when someone asks you about your standards or would you be willing to consider making someone who is not in a good as position as you. And if you want to date someone who doesn't make as much money for as you, then that is your business. But I also don't think that Black women need to be interrogated about having standards and expectations and to have those ridiculed. Now, are there people who have expectations that they shouldn't have? Sure, there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. But generally speaking, most successful Black women are usually asked questions like this. So, all of our celebrity women, what I'm noticing time and again on every single doggone interview that they do, particularly where there's a man present, here comes that stupid question. Would you consider dating a man who makes less money than you? Of all the accolades a woman has, of all the great things that she's doing in her life, we could talk about so many things that this woman who's a national treasure is doing in her life, but yet here comes that silly little dreaded questions, which means would you consider lowering your expectations and why not? It comes in various forms. Would you consider dating a bus driver? That's what was asked to Ebony Wilson. Do you know who Ebony Wilson is? It's an insult to ask her a question like that with all of her accolades, her accomplishments, and the things that she's doing in life. But no other race of people is asked to date down or, consider bringing someone into their life who makes considerably less finances. And then you have people that are publicly making statements like Tyler Perry and Iyanla Vanzant who encourage women to lower their standards. Let me tell you what lowering your standards was going to get you every single time. And you don't have to write Dr. Jones and tell me about it. But lowering your standards will lead to abuse. It will lead to you dealing with someone's insecurities and you constantly having to prove your worth. When you're a CEO, you're going to come home to somebody who's going to be pissed that you're accelerating, that you're ambitious and you're making money. You may have to deal with a mother-son dynamic or a mother-daughter dynamic, depending on what you're into dating. It's going to lead to a whole host of things. Black women deserve the world. They should have it. They deserve to be celebrated. They deserve to be living the highs of their life to the fullest of their capability. Never ever consider dating down. And as soon as you're at a table with a man who's arguing about, I have to buy you, you food or, this and that, or I'm not paying for this and that. And that's another thing. Men with money, right, will also give you that narrative like, well, don't expect me to. I don't participate in conversations like that. If my girlfriends are doing a better job and they're not stingy, they're not selfish, they're not ego-centered, why would I entertain, a partner that's not doing that, right? Or a potential partner. Why would I entertain someone who's selfish? Why even entertain the conversation when there's plenty of people out here who will do and don't mind doing? Even people that I'm not in a relationship with and never intend on getting into a relationship with. I have men in my life that will take me out to dinner at nice restaurants and I've never expected to pay. And that's been our entire relationship. And they don't ever bring it back and say, well, Natalie, I bought you steak and lobster at, this and that. And, I never have to do that. And I never have to justify that. Can I pay for my own dinner? Absolutely. But there's nobody who watches your pockets more than people who want to have what's in your pockets or people who have nothing in their pockets. So stop entertaining the question, would you date down or would you date somebody who makes less than you? And again, I'm not telling you what to do because you're all grown adults, but know this, Dr. Jones never recommends women dating men who make less money than them. And I'm not ego-centered. I'm not, a gold digger, but even if I was, that would be my business, but I don't encourage women doing it. It is in my opinion, it is one of the number one reasons that leads to abusive relationships. Hope that helps.